Hi everyone, it's Ray from Pro String with another racket restringing tutorial. Today's racket will be a Head Speed Pro graphene youtek, to give you all the exact names for it. Just in case you're thinking of getting any grommets for it, you need to know these small details, but we can go by Head Speed Pro. And then the graphene and youtek technologies that they use. This was a pretty popular racket. Now they've changed models to the Sinner racket, I believe, to that paint job kind of racket. It's a 100 square inch, if I'm not mistaken. Let's always double check what we're doing. 100 square inch should be 1820 if I'm not saying. This is the 18 version, 1820. I think it was a 1619 as well. So we've got 8 holes in the bottom, 4 loops, and we are using natural gut, by the way. This is a VS Touch 125. Natural gut, here you go guys. So with natural gut, guys, you need to be super careful, especially if you haven't got much experience stringing. Something simple as this, no kinks in the string. You need to try your absolute best for no kinks, no folds, no bending, nothing. I like that. You need to be super careful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 9 to each side, but as you guys can see, we've already got one main to each side. So now I'm just going to clamp, do things a little bit differently, because with natural gut there's not much space or margin for error, as they don't give you much string. So as you can see, I'm being careful. I've clamped. I'm just being very careful with my initial loop around the frame, and now I'm going to measure my strings. Well, measure the other side. We've already measured one side against the frame, as you just saw. So even myself, I'm always being very careful with natural gut. This client wants a full set of natural gut, by the way. No hybrid or anything like that, just full natural gut, which you don't see all that much these days, but yeah. Tension 54 mains, 52 crosses, fine. 54. Keep your clamp up, guys, always, but especially with natural gut. Client hasn't added to the label, at least no pre-stretch. Natural gut, guys, is from cows. The intestine of a cow, not cat, not anything else. Lots of rumors going around there it's cat gut. No, it's not. So guys, as always, stringing symmetrically, making sure you're compensating your tension to each side, which is the proper thing to do. Because if not, you can warp, damage, break your racket even, depending on the quality of it. So it's good practice to always compensate to each side. 3. The golden rule is 3 strings to each side, until of course you get to a moment or a point where that no longer is possible, which is completely fine. Then you just do 2 and 2, which is normally the way. But in this case, 9 to each side, we go 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3 and 3, 3 sets of 3. slightly just thought I'd close the clamp a little bit more, but it was not necessary. I did actually turn the little wheel that regulates the how open or closed you need the clamp to be. It just didn't feel right, a little bit too tight maybe. I feel like I've left myself a lot of string. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have gone through the other side with number 7, but it's fine. So I'm hoping that I haven't left too much on the mains and left myself a little bit short. Should have always double check your counting when it comes to gut, because it's just too expensive to mess it up, guys. 125 definitely stretches a decent amount as well, so there we go. 6. Now 3 more to each side. It doesn't matter which side you want to do. 7. Up your tension 15 to 20% on every last string before the finishing knot, as in this case. Guys, this racket, so very important. You need to tie your knot on your mains, on your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. On your 7th main, and it says it clearly on the hole, tie off main. Don't tie it on your 8th main, because that is a shared hole. This racket has a few shared holes, guys, so be very careful. Watch out with that. Nice short knot, and my 7th to this side, as always, parallel knot. So we're going to do exactly the same on this side, guys, as we did the other side. Tying your knots when you're doing at least a 4-knot stringing job or 2-piece job, you always want to tie your knots in the same place on your mains. When it comes to crosses, obviously it's completely different, because you get one at the top, one at the bottom. And we're going to up our tension, which I've already pressed my knot button. This machine, Wilson Biondo Original, comes with a knot button on the LED screen. Guys, again, on your 7th main, where it says it clearly on the grommet as well, follow the instructions on the racket if it does say where to tie your knots. Gotta say, playing with natural gut is beautiful, but like everything in life, most beautiful things come with a very high price tag. We sell the natural gut for £40 pretty much. We do price match if necessary, but we do charge £40 a set of natural gut, plus the £20 of your labor fee, which we charge. Do the maths, £60, not cheap. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Oof. This better stretch pretty damn well, because I've left myself a little bit. I've been too generous on the crosses. I know that this is going to be okay though, but you need to be careful. So it's going to be an interesting one, to say the least, because I want to leave myself a little bit. So we're going to use our starting clamp as well today, guys, for stringing with natural gut. The cross string, there may be videos out there where I have just pulled it on the main string, but I know it's not the correct thing to do. Can cause breakage, but it's never been the case with me. at least not for a very long time. So I'm gonna leave myself that much for the knot, seeing that we're playing already with a bit of fire. So just want to make sure it's going to be plenty. There's going to be plenty, yeah, that's fine. So it's not all that much string, but I want to make sure that I have enough, and I don't want to get to the end and not have enough. So I'm leaving myself that much to tie my knot, but that's going to be right at the end. As I said, as I just mentioned, we want to try to avoid as much tension as possible on the main string. So instead of just tying it on a main and then just pulling from there onwards, we're going to be very careful and do the following as I'm doing now. So I'm stringing one ahead, always useful, guys, especially on an 1820 where it's not easy to weave anyway. Just going to pull this string now, guys. So use a little piece of leather, or you can buy a Parnell pad, I believe they're called. This has worked for me for years. And 52 tension for the crosses. Right. Again, it does tell you where you need to tie your starting knot for the crosses. Guys, very important with natural gut and any string, move your hand along the crosses as you're pulling them. I'm going to have lots of string actually. That's good. So of course, being so expensive, Babolat don't give you too much left over. So you need to be careful, especially on the 1820s. Don't be too generous on your mains, because you will find yourself in a bit of a difficult spot if you do. We're going to leave our starting clamp there, guys. Make sure you put the string all the way into the clamp to avoid any kind of slipping. It's just something special about natural gut. It's just smooth. Despite this being an 1820, it's not that easy to weave, but there's just something special about feeling that. It's almost like a silky feeling when you're stringing with natural gut. You can really feel it when you're doing your crosses, as I'm doing now. Some people do it like this. Not my first choice, but it just happened to be there that it went that way. So always, regardless of strings you're using, move that cross string across and avoiding as much friction as possible by using your right or left hand and pulling that cross string down. Every time you pull, you need to come down. Pull down, pull down. Okay, guys? Very important, very important. Avoid damaging the string, burning the string. All sorts of damage can be done. And then when you're actually physically pulling the string, we're going to come back through here actually. Don't like it when the string is being pulled and it's leaning against the fixture or the mounting system. So take that as well into account and try to avoid that. The last thing you need is any types of problems damaging the string or the frame or anything. So just try to stay away from that, from your fixtures. I hope I've got enough string. That was far too generous. I'm not gonna lie, just got back from tennis and had a beer. I don't really drink, so one beer for me is probably 3 for a normal person. I'm not drunk obviously, but I've had a beer, so maybe just my perception is off slightly. Normally I wouldn't have left myself so much string on the mains, on each side. Just played some team matches, doubles, won both my matches. It's the Middlesex Winter League, I believe it's called. I don't know. Just going to start trying to compete a little bit again. Even if it's just starting with that. The level was quite poor, unfortunately. Despite being much older than all the guys who played. Well, all the guys. 2 pairs of 2, doubles obviously. So guys, always supporting when the string's being pulled. Support the string you're being pulled. That is being pulled, sorry. Pretty sure it'll be fine. String wise, keep thinking about it there. But that's just, I think that's just the beer. If I would have had one more beer, this video would have been taking place until tomorrow. Not a big fan of drinking, not anymore. Back in the day when I was a youngster. Don't get me wrong, I still am a youngster, of course I am. But back in the day it was, yeah. It was fun, put it that way. It was definitely fun. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Yeah. 6 plus all the stretching that this stuff does. Natural gut is a stretchy-ish. Not super stretchy. But maybe a bit more than multi-filament, I think. And not as much as a synthetic gut. I think, it's my opinion. My feeling at least. But as you can see, I guess I'm making a good example, hopefully. Be careful with how much string you leave on your mains. Especially if you're doing a 4-piece. 2-piece, 4-knot, sorry. So we had a little bit of food after the doubles, and everyone's was telling everybody about the YouTube videos that I've been doing. And funny enough, 2 of the guys that I played, they're both like, we know you from somewhere. I'm like, okay, maybe we've played tennis, maybe you've seen me somewhere. Like, are you Ray from Pro String? I was like, yeah, that's me. Oh, we've been stringing with you for 5 years and we've never met you. It was actually quite funny. I'm like, what's your last Ben? It's like, yeah, that's me. I was like, wow. 5 years stringing for somebody and you've never met them. It's incredible, isn't it? Very interesting, to say the least. Alright, so I don't think I'm going to carry on doing, there's no point doing 1 ahead. I'm going to stop the 1 ahead. Unfortunately, because of my string shortage, I'm going to have plenty, but for 1 ahead, I don't have enough to weave 2 every time. So we'll just do our 1, 1, 1. As you can see, it's going to be much more difficult to weave, which is annoying. Oh, be careful. See if the string will unravel itself. Something to watch out for. Shared hole, guys. 2 at the top. Your first cross string is a shared hole. Let me show you from this angle. Shared hole. And your second cross is also on a shared hole. Should have said this before. The automatic part of my brain just automatically goes, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Go for it. So when you're doing the videos, I'm trying my best to always stop and think for a moment. And another shared hole, guys. The last and second last cross are both shared holes, and like I just mentioned, the first and the second, so the first 2 in the top, first 2 in the bottom, shared holes on the Head Speed Pro. It could be the same on the non-pro, possibly, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me though. sure I'll get a chance to see that racket again one more time somewhere. They're not that old, so I'm sure we'll see it again when I do. At least the version with 1619, I'll make sure I'll make a video. Right, last cross, tension is already up 15%, which is my preferred tension on the last string before tying our finishing knot. And again, it tells us where we should be tying our finishing knot for the cross strings, which is the third, 1, 2, 3, our third last cross from the bottom. Don't pull too hard on your knot, guys. Natural gut will snap. The last thing you want to do is get right to the end and for it to snap. Cut my knot. Parnell knot as usual, guys. Now, we clamp and we tighten our base. A little piece of wet leather away. I am pretty close to the clamp here, pretty close to the knot, should I say, which I don't like, but anyway, trying to avoid tension loss at all cost. So as you guys can see, I haven't left myself much string at all, which is fine. I figured it out. Sometimes with stringing, you need to you need to improvise a little bit. Well, there's a chance I might just do talking about making life difficult, eh? That clamp is too right. Okay, so in this situation, I can't be bothered to go backwards and forwards now. I'm going to do 2 simple knots. That one's already done. Can release our clamp. I'm just going to do 1 more. So it's just a double single knot. No worries. No problem at all. Not my favorite, but it's okay. Alright guys, cut your knot. Single, double knot. Racket should just pop off the machine nice and easy, guys. If you're having to apply loads of tension to get the racket off your machine, you have unfortunately put the racket too hard on the machine. Too tight, should I say. That sounds nice. Very tight for 54, 52. But anyway, guys, there you have it. Head Speed Head Speed Pro. It says it here, youtek technology and graphene. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. As always, hopefully you learned some valuable stuff there. And happy stringing, guys. Take care. Bye-bye for now.